Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I've got something properly exciting for you. I know I often say that, but this is genuinely quite an exciting car. I can't wait to show you around it. I spent 10 hours yesterday going picking this up, and I was as giddy as a kid on Christmas Day. What I bought was a 2003 Audi S4 in Nogaro blue. Now, I hate this expression, but if you know, you know. Nogaro blue, named after a French racetrack, is arguably the best colour, and this S4 has arguably the best engine. It's a 4.2 litre V8, and it's a gem. It's all-wheel drive because it uses Audi's legendary Quattro four-wheel drive system, and it's a 6-speed manual. I can't tell you how much fun I had in this car. I just loved every minute of it. I did 250 miles in this car yesterday and had a smile on my face, you know, a proper cheesy ear-to-ear grin for 250 miles. Honestly now, I haven't had that feeling, you know that feeling I'm talking about, I haven't had that feeling about a car for, well, I honestly can't remember the last time. I didn't even get that feeling when I picked up this. In fact, I felt quite sick that day because my insurance premium doubled. I looked at lots of S4s before I found this one, and a lot had checkered pasts. That's why it's really important that you do a thorough vehicle history check, especially on something like this. They always seem to be the kind of car that have had 12 owners, and there's always some finance outstanding with some sort of subprime lender, and frequently the seller doesn't tell you that it's been involved in an accident. So I was obviously quite happy when I checked this one out and it was all clear. If you'd like to do one of these car vertical checks for yourself and you'd like to save some money, if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK, that's HIGHPEAK all one word, HIGHPEAK, you'll save yourself 20% off each and every check that you do. It's a really good system. It works in 35 different countries, so it isn't just a UK thing. And it tells you things like if it's been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. In addition to that, it shows you the ownership changes. If it has been involved in an accident, sometimes it shows photographs of the damage. It's a really useful tool. As you can see with this Audi S4, the mileage is nice and low. It's only done around 65,000 miles. And the mileage is consistent every single year. If we scroll down to the MOT history, it's all fairly clean. There's nothing there too sinister. Anyway, let me go and show you around this car. I can't wait for you to see it. It's a really rare find. I'll see you there. Well, here we are then, and look at that. Oh, it's such a good looking car. I love the colour. That's got to be one of my favourite colours. You know what I love about it as well? Yes, it's got a 4.2 litre V8 engine, but it's kind of subtle. You know, there are no silly vents on it or nostrils on the bonnet. It's got two sensible exhausts out the back, and that's it. You know, if I showed that to, I don't know, my mum, for example, she'd just think it was an ordinary, boring saloon car. That's what I really like about it. Nobody really knows that it's got a massive engine. Let me show you around it then. Wait till you hear it. Okay then, let me show you around the old Nogaro blue. Car key, yep, right. So we've got both sets of keys here. The other one's at home actually. So I went home in this last night and it sounded, in my garage, it sounded wicked. I think I'll get the wheels refurbished actually, although that one's not too bad. There are a couple of little marks on the fronts. Now, we've got a set of matching Avon tyres all round, barring, when I say set, there are 4 present in the car, but this one here, the offside front, is a high fly. There's another Avon, but it's in the boot, and I'm told it's got a puncture, so I need to get the puncture repaired, if it can be. If not, find a matching Avon, and then, you know, swap those over. I'd like a set of matching tyres. But yeah, that wheel there, it's got a few little marks on it, so I'll probably get the set refurbished. I'll take it to Prestige and get them to do it for me. There's not an awful lot to do to this car. I just want to get it as mint as possible, because it's only done 65,000 miles. It's only had 2 owners plus Audi, so 3 total. It's just completely genuine, and I love it. We've got xenon lights there with the headlamp washers. We've got its original East Kent Audi plates, front and rear. Now, importantly, these 4.2 litre V8s suffer with bad timing chains. So it's not so much the chains, but it's the tensioners. They have plastic tensioners, and with time they get brittle and then can snap. And it's about £3,500–4,000 to sort that out. But happily, this one's been done about 5,000 miles ago, so it was another reason to buy this one. And it was worth paying the premium for this car actually, because otherwise I could have bought one for £5,000 or something and then chucked £3,000 at it straight away. Whereas this one was just shy of 8. But I think it's an awful lot of car for £8,000. So around the back then you've got twin exhaust there, but they're completely standard. That's the thing I was saying, a lot of these adverts that I saw for S4s, they'd all had like 12 owners, they'd all had like a 3D plate on, that sort of nonsense. Then when you'd read the advert, it'd be like, it was had a stage 2 remap, it's running at 520 brake. All right, okay, well done. I don't want to buy that then. Or worse still, it'd be like, I've got a Liechtenstein straight through exhaust on it. Oh, it's running on Miltech. All right, okay. No thanks. Whereas this is completely standard. I'm over the moon with it. Right, so let me show you the interior then, because the interior on this is quite special. We've got the incorrect mats. It says they're for an A4, not an S4. A parking permit there. You've got these Recaro seats, which are half leather, half Alcantara, and this nice suede, the Alcantara here, which is in pretty good condition really. It hasn't gone too bobbly, although there's a little bit of wear on the driver's seat there, but not too bad. It matches the exterior colour, but I think it's quite tasteful. Like, it's not too garish, and it's exactly the same in the back. So we've got a Bose audio system. Got nice little S4 sill protectors there. There's reams of service history, loads of history with it. And the previous owner's only done about 5,000 miles in the last 5 or 6 years. I think he bought it in 2018. How do I open the boot? There we go. So we've got new wheel centres for it. The previous owner swapped those over. So that's that. There's my matching Avon, so I need to get that sorted. Oh, it's not actually, is it? It's a Kumo. Right, I need to get an Avon then. I need to have a matching set, don't we? Can't let this car down, can we? Now, the previous owner was telling me that he always garaged it, but he recently did a garage conversion and extension, so he's lost his garage. So for the last year or two, it's just been parked outside. So I need to make sure that I find some shelter for it, really. I did have a quick look underneath, and it's in good order. It's not too rusty. There's a little brake pipe there, a little brake hose that needs to be replaced. I'll do that. He's done the other 4, but apparently he had difficulty getting that one off, so I'll have to see if my mechanic can sort it. Got this clever cup holders there. Oh, there is an issue with it, quite an obvious one actually. Look at this. I'm gonna have to take this to Auto Trim in Denton and see my mate Jim the Trim. My headlining has gone all saggy. It's like being sat in a tent really, it's dropped. The previous owner's pinned it up, but obviously that's not really the look I'm going for, so I'll get that replaced. Now, I've had headlines replaced on saloon cars before, and it's a right pain in the neck, because, you know, if this was an estate car, you just dismantle the headline and then remove it through the boot, but because it's a saloon, you've got to either take out the windscreen or the rear screen, so you can add another sort of £150 onto the bill. So I'll be looking about 500 quid there, I imagine, for that job. Need to find some nice new mats for it. But yeah, what do you think? Don't look at the headlining actually. Lets the side down. We've got also this nice sort of carbon fibre trim everywhere as well. It's just cool, isn't it? It's just a cool car. Everything works, all the electronics work and everything. I drove it 250 miles yesterday, didn't have a single warning light on. In fact, no, that's not true. I had a bulb out at some point, about 20 miles from home. I drove up the M1 and then over through Barnsley and then over Woodhead. And let me tell you, this four-wheel drive S4 over Woodhead was great fun. Let me show you the bonnet then, or under the bonnet, to be precise. They just don't make cars like this anymore. Are you ready? Look at that. So it's a 4.2 litre naturally aspirated V8, so there are no turbos or anything like that. It is just what you see is what you get, basically. Got a loose battery cover there to sort that out. But it's just completely original, completely honest. So I'll get it all valeted nice, make sure it's all good. What I want to do actually as well is get this down to the VW specialist, or the VAG specialist in Reddish, who I've used before and they're really good, and have them just go over it. So I'd like to have a full engine service done, new spark plugs, new oil. I'd like to change the gearbox oil, the diff oil, just everything, just to make it as mint as possible. You know, brake fluid change, power steering fluid change, just anything. I just want to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. Would you like to hear this start up then? Are you ready for this? I even like the dials as well. And, right, it's due a service, so I'll get that done. The display there usually goes all sort of pixelated, but it's not, it's all in good order. Right, let's fire this up then. Oh, we've got heated seats as well, which is nice. Get it out of gear. How good does that sound? Hang on a second. Right then, well, should we get this out on the road? I'll give you a quick test drive. Right then, let's take it out for a spin. Got low fuel. I tanked this yesterday in Kent and I think it took about £80 and I put the premium V-Power stuff in it because of its age. You should always run, I think it's from like 2002 or 2003 and before, you've got to put the premium fuel in. Little tip there for you. It's just such good fun to drive. You know what's funny? I mean, most modern cars now, you don't really drive them. They drive for you. Whereas this still requires input from the driver. It's quite refreshing. And the ride isn't too bad either. You'd think this would have a really firm ride, wouldn't you? But it doesn't. It's actually quite comfortable. The seats are nice and supportive. I think we can make this, can't we, in my 4.2 litre V8. Sounds so good. It's just a nice sort of gentle noise. The noise reminds me a bit of my my old 645 BMW. What's also good about this car, as I was driving it into the city last night and I caught my reflection in, you know, plate glass windows, it looks really cool. Those nice bluey, sort of bluey purpley xenons just make it look really nice. It gets looks as well, this. In fact, somebody spotted me on the M1 yesterday. I got very excited about it. The air conditioning works, everything works. It's just completely faultless. That's what this car's all about. The gearbox is perfect on it as well. It's not tight to get in gears, there are no sort of crunches or anything, it's just a pleasure to use. Clutch is nice and light as well. That was one thing I checked in this car because I know to replace the clutch on this, I think it's quite an expensive job. I think you're talking about 1,200 quid. But happily, it's all right. So although it's in really good condition, I still need to spend probably £2,000 on this just to get it as mint as possible. Sort the tyre situation out, sort the headlining out, give it a full service. Just do anything it needs, really, because I love it. This is the sort of grin I had on my face yesterday for 5 hours. Made me realise how much I enjoy driving a manual car, actually. Most of the cars that I drive in my day-to-day job are manuals, but they're no fun. They're just, you know, Citroens and Kias and things. Whereas this has got a proper gearbox. The brakes are good too, which is a good thing. I was driving this last night and I was getting a bit tired and I had probably an hour to go and I was driving it like a bit of a bell, actually. But it's just great fun. It really does bring out your inner hooligan. I didn't expect this to be so well spec'd either. So we've got heated seats, but also they're electrically operated. I'm never selling this car. Oh yes, so grippy as well. I was late for my haircut this morning, so I was trying to make up time, obviously. And I was driving this in a way that, well, in a way that my mother would describe as irresponsible, a little bit reckless, but I didn't do anything dangerous or anything. I just had great fun with it. Well, I hope you're as pleased with this car as, in fact, that's not even possible, is it? I can't tell you how excited I am. Can't tell you how happy I am with it. So I think, ladies and gents, I'm going to crack on with the work and I'll have an update for you very soon. I mean, it looks nice now, but wait till the end of this video. I think I'll run it to Tameside detailing it and leave it for something like a stage 1 or stage 2 buff and detail and stuff. I'll see what he thinks it needs, but this car is going to look superb. Just quickly, actually, before I go, I just want to say thank you to Charlie, who sold me the car in the first place. I appreciate it. Thanks for looking after it.
With the plans for the Audi S4 underway, the first job's sorting out that headliner that's just seen better days, because he wants an interior that feels like it's melting. Now, I've taken it to the skilled hands of Jim the Trim, or as he's officially known, Auto Trim over in Denton. He's kindly let us film as he shows us how he's going to bring it back to life.
Car's been brought to us for us to retrim the headlining. Usual problem on these, the headlining sag, so you do have to take the majority of them out and retrim them. We've removed the headlining from the vehicle. To get the headlining out of the vehicle completely, we've had to remove all the visors, the grab handles, all the lights to allow us to pull the headlining down from the roof and then slide it out through the boot. Under normal circumstances, we would take it out through the windscreen, but on this one, we've managed to get out through the boot. As you can see, there's no headlining in the car now completely. It's just the roof with the insulation. Let me get the headlining that we're going to be putting on it. That's the old board with the headlining removed from it. We've had to remove because it was sagging down completely. As you take it out the car, it just falls apart. So I'll just talk you through why the headlining does what it does, why it sags down, okay, and what we've got to do to put it right. As you can see, this is the headlining board out of the vehicle, which has lost all its material and its backing foam. So what we've got to do now to replace this completely is clean all this board off, get rid of all this stickiness and the old glue and the old foam. So prep the board, make sure it's not sticky at all. Then using some new material, this is a small sample of it, we will then prep the material and then re-glue this material back to the board, shaping it as we go along into all these recesses here. Once we've done that, we can trim it all off, leave it to set and dry, then turn it upside down, slide it back in the car and then build it all back up again. To do the job from start to finish, we've probably got between 9-10 hours from taking it out to re-gluing new headlining to it, building it all back up, putting it back in the car. Job done, 9 to 10 hours.
While I let Jim crack on with the headlining, I'm going to order the tyre and the service kit and then take it to my mechanics. I'll see you all later.
And we're back in my Audi S4, and I don't know if I've told you this already, guys, but I love this car. It's just so cool. I love the noise it makes while you're just pottering around at about 2000 RPM. It just has so much presence without being obnoxious. It's almost like the car equivalent of soft power. I picked it up from Auto Trim over in Denton, and Jim and the team there have done a really good job with this headliner. It looks as good as new. It's really made driving this car a much nicer experience. It now doesn't feel as though I'm sitting in a collapsing tent. After I picked it up from Jim's, I took it down to my mechanics. I was keen to get that tyre replaced. There was also a brake hose that needed to be replaced, and I wanted to get a full engine service done. I just didn't want to do this car any damage. So I left it there for a full engine service. A couple of days later it was all ready. I've just picked it up from there this morning and taken it to my local car wash for a quick mini valet. There are still a couple of jobs left to do to this car, but I'm in no great rush. At least now I know the engine's fine, the headlining's fine, and my tyres are all good. So I may as well just enjoy it for a few more miles and get round to those jobs one of these days. Oh yes. You just go into corners with this car with so much confidence. And you know what's interesting as well? It's quite a small car, so driving this around the city just means you can park it anywhere. You can almost weave in and out of traffic. It's made me realise just how big and cumbersome modern cars are. There's really nothing to this at all. Now, although I haven't gone mad with this car, I haven't completely gone to town with it, I have still spent a considerable amount of money. What I'm going to do next then, guys, is park up in my usual spot and I'll talk you through all my costs. In another video in the near future, I think I'll get the wheels done, I'll run it to the VAG specialist in Reddish and get them to service the diff and all that sort of stuff, maybe change the gearbox fluid, do everything that it needs, and then I think I'll get the wheels refurbished, paint my wiper arms, and then probably take it to Tameside detailing for a stage 1 or 2 buff. But for now, I think that can wait because I'm just having too much fun. I've also noticed this car gets some serious attention. It's quite cool, really. I think it's just I don't really like to use this word, but it's kind of iconic. Right, here we'll do then. I think I need to get the aircon gassed as well. It gets quite warm in here. I'm guessing it's just the heat from the engine. Such a big lump of a motor, isn't it? Right then. Now, I paid £7,800 for this car. 7,800. My bill at my mechanics, so it's had an oil filter, air filter, pollen filter, 8 spark plugs, fit offside front brake flexi pipe, brake fluid, rectify offside front electric window fault. Now, I didn't even know this was a fault actually, but the windows wouldn't work when the door was open. So you'd open the door like that and the windows wouldn't work. Now, I didn't think that was a fault. I thought that's just how it was, but apparently there was some sort of trapped wire or pinched wire or something, so that's been rectified. And then also fit the new tyre and some labour. So that really isn't a bad bill actually. We've gone with a matching Avon tyre, so I've now got a full set of Avons. My bill there was £563.78. In addition to that, we've got my bill at Auto Trim. Now that was, let me just find my email. Okay, so that was £450 plus VAT, so £540 there. Right, so my grand total so far, you ready for this? This 21-year-old Audi S4 currently owes me £8,903.78. And I genuinely, I'm not just trying to be optimistic here, I'm not just trying to convince myself. I genuinely think there's some profit in this. I'm not selling it, by the way, I'm keeping it. But I think if I were to sell it, I think what you're looking at here, with a couple more jobs done, is a £10,000 car. It's really rare to find one in this sort of condition, with this sort of mileage. So I think my money's safe. Granted, it isn't the kind of car that everyone wants. Not many people want a 21-year-old saloon car that only does 16 miles per gallon, but some people do. Cool people do. I'm just properly smitten with this car. I can't remember the last time I was so excited about something. Right, well, on that note then, guys, thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. I could do this in my sleep now, couldn't I? Right, I'll see you next time. Cheers.